Hello again, everyone, and welcome to a special episode of Outside the Echo Chamber, coming to you today from inside the Media Center studios. We are going to be talking to a couple of important West Virginians who are important in their respective fields, but who today will also be talking about an important collaboration. Joining me later will be Hall of Fame basketball head coach Bob Huggins, but right now joining me is Executive Vice President of Vandalia and President and CEO of Mon Health, David Goldberg. Thank you so much for your time today, sir. And I know that your journey into healthcare is not just a professional one, but also a personal one. You were a patient at a Shriners Hospital as a young child.
I was. You do your homework. When I was 7 years old, my mother shared, and I recall it, that I had significant neck pain. I'd wake up in the middle of the night. I'd be screaming in pain. She said on occasion she would actually see me banging my head into the wall. Couldn't understand what it was. I went to 7 or 8 different children's hospitals around the country. Children's Hospital of Pennsylvania, Children's Boston, and a host of others, and found ourselves to Shriners, where my grandfather and father were Shriners. They took a look at me, they did an exam, and they found a benign cyst in my upper spine that they had to remove, take bone out of my hip, fuse to my spine, and then my neck was a little weak after it. I was in bed traction for about 10 days to try to strengthen the muscles. That didn't work, so I wore a halo. And those who see me close, you could see the holes in my head literally were where the screws were in the two front and 2 in the back to mobilize and stabilize my neck for 4 months. So I lived it. It was the environment in Philadelphia at this hospital back then was like one flew over the cuckoo's nest. I remember wards of kids. I remember flight of children coming in from Puerto Rico to get access to this hospital because they didn't have access to care, and Shriners was free care. So I live it, breathe it, because I lived it.
And certainly, no doubt, impactful in how it developed you as a person and realizing that you wanted to give back and be able to help others in the healthcare industry.
Very much. I never thought I'd be in a position running healthcare operations. I started in philanthropy, external relations, early in my career, graduated from WVU, came back now here at Mon and now Vandalia. Never in a million years would I think I can give back to the community in this way, and also was a previous patient, and hopefully keep that close to my heart in how we develop programs to help those in need.
So how do you give back? I know as one of the big guys, the executive vice president, a lot of your work is strategic and investment and opportunities, but you also probably have a hand in the day-to-day operations and seeing how it's working. Talk a little bit about Vandalia's mission and what you're trying to do for the state and what Vandalia has become.
Right. So to remind people, Vandalia came together in 2022 when Charleston Area Medical Center Health System and Mon Health System came together. And the reason we really wanted to do that is we believe to have a state voice, to be able to bring our assets together. We have great doctors, great locations. Our electronic health record is the same. We've thought, and we still believe, hence Vandalia's growth, is coming together, we can be better for the state. We could share, reduce our cost, improve outcomes together. Really want to bend what the perception is that West Virginia doesn't have the best health outcomes. And together we've done that. So we started with 4 hospitals in the north, 4 hospitals in the south, and today we're 14 owned hospitals. With Davis Health System that joined us with their 3 hospitals in December. And then we also have 3 other hospitals that we manage in the north, Grafton City Hospital, Highland Clarksburg Hospital, which is a psychiatric facility in Harrison County, and we have an affiliation with Minnie Hamilton. And we're all now 17 stronger because we could share amongst each other and bring that great learning to improve the outcomes for our patients.
And a very diverse system, but also a very large system. What are some of the challenges that go into managing that type of infrastructure?
So not only do we deliver the care, but we are no different than any other employer. We're the second largest non-governmental employer in the state. So we actually have to look at how we run our business like everybody else, and then we're delivering care to those in need. In 2023, we had more than 1.7 million patient interactions, surgeries, delivery of babies, inpatient care, outpatient care. We did more than 4,000 deliveries of babies across the hospitals in our system that deliver. We did thousands of open heart surgery. And then we also have what's called the Vandalia Health Network that actually helps with population health to reduce the cost of care, partner with insurance companies. We are not an insurance company and don't want to be, but we partner with them to bend the curve. We want to reduce poor outcomes, and we want to reduce the cost of care so we can make healthcare affordable and help our patients own their healthcare outcome.
And I assume that as long as everything is going well and you see opportunities, there would always be some room for growth. Has there ever been any discussion about how big is too big?
I think that is the age-old question when organizations gets too big. I left larger organizations that I felt got too big, and they forgot why they're doing what they're doing.
Right.
And every day we start our meetings and look at what is the best interest of our patients. We have walked away from opportunities, candidly, that we just thought would either overstretch us, but then we lend partnership and support. We don't have to own everything. They don't have to be a formal member of our system like Minnie Hamilton down near Glenville State. They are a partner of ours. We lend support. We bring professional in to be able to help support what they need, but they don't have to be a full member to get the benefit. And we believe that's our calling as a community not-for-profit, is to bring that expertise to where the community wants us and not overstretch ourselves to go where we're not wanted.
Talk to me a little bit about 100 plus people who care. I know that's
Boy, you've
near
done
and
your
dear,
research.
near and dear to your heart. What that encompasses and what that means to you.
So I'm a former fundraiser. I mean, that's where I started my career. So I think it's important for those of us who are successful is to give back. When I worked and lived in Pittsburgh, there was a group of 100 men who cared, and they came together quarterly. All of us came in with a local charity that we know of, no national charities, just local, nominate them, vote, and then we all give a minimum of $100 quarterly to that chosen charity. And I thought that would be special to bring to North Central West Virginia. So I started it when I got here in 2018, 2019. We carried through during the pandemic. We've raised about $100,000 for local charities. All of the people, it's men and women. If you're under 40, it's $50. If you're over 40, the privilege of being older is you pay more, is to do $100. And we've recognized the Food Pantry, Pantry Plus, to name a few, the local post office that's converting to a new building, Girls on the Run, and a host of other organizations.
And the food pantry thing is such a big deal because a lot of times that's front of center in your mind during the holidays. You know, you have the Thanksgiving drives, the Christmas drives, but this is a year-round need, and a lot of times it's those leaner months, the spring, summer, where they can really use the help the most.
And most people don't know we have food deserts in West Virginia. We have people who just don't have access to vegetables. I always say food is a drug. It's nutrition. Most of the reasons people in our state are sick is they don't even have good nutrition to start their diet, and garbage in, garbage out.
Right.
So if you're eating bad food all the time and you're not getting fresh vegetables, fresh meats without preservatives and such, then we wonder why we are where we are. We'll talk about cancer, but a lot of these preservatives and such do cause exacerbation and or introduction of cancer and other illnesses. So if we can help you with nutrition as an example, we do that with our Vandalia Health Network in partnership with Highmark and other payers. They gave us grants, and we partner with Dollar General, and we give gift cards to people that qualify to get fresh vegetables, to have good diet. We hope it'll control their diabetes. We hope it'll help them get on a path of better wellness, and also be able to partner with the insurance companies who also want to see better outcomes.
And that's interesting because a lot of people, when they think about the healthcare system, and sometimes people have this, this view that, oh, okay, they're just going to push pills on people, or they're just trying to make a profit on your sickness. But a lot of healthcare is preventative, and so that they don't even need to go to the hospital.
I don't want to see a patient in a bed that doesn't need to be there. One of the things we've done, I call it Legacy Mon Health, because we're now Vandalia, we created service lines, and to me it's about the journey. I want the patient in the right place. I don't want patients using an emergency room, for example, that can get into a primary care office and then be in the medical home and take care of them. The emergency room should be for emergencies. Some of our rural communities don't have after-hour clinics. They don't have walk-in, so they use their ERs. So it's incumbent upon us as healthcare provider, get them into a medical home, wherever that is, to make sure they're followed up on, so then the cost doesn't go up and why they showed up isn't being taken care of.
Now, you're not a native West Virginian.
I'm not.
You met your wife here.
I did.
I did too. So that kind of makes us kind of West Virginians.
I'm a West Virginian by choice.
What has the state meant to you?
Love it here. We chose to come here. My wife and I both are WVU graduates. I got she got her master's degree and her baccalaureate degree in the 90s, and then I got my baccalaureate degree. And when the opportunity came to come back to West Virginia, it was, I think I signed my ticket renewal for football back when I took my job with Highmark's Allegheny Health Network when I moved back from Texas to Pittsburgh before I signed the offer letter, and it's been that way ever since.
There you go. Well, West Virginia football is a big deal. So is West Virginia basketball. And
absolutely.
The name that comes to mind when you think of West Virginia basketball is Hall of Fame coach Bob Huggins. Yeah. He's in the studio here today as well. You talked about food. Fish is good for you, right?
Oh, fish is great, especially during Lent.
All right. Well, coming up in just a little little bit, we'll be talking with Hall of Fame coach Bob Huggins and continue our conversation with David Goldberg about the Fish Fry. Of course, if you're joining us now, you probably are familiar with that event. It's going to still be going on, and we'll talk to the coach right after this.
Are you ready to unlock a future filled with remarkable pay, unbeatable benefits, and unparalleled satisfaction? Imagine embarking on a journey that offers you a college-level education without the weight of debt, all while earning a steady income. Look no further than the West Virginia Building and Construction Trades apprenticeship programs. Join us, and together, let's build a future that's brighter and stronger. Go to actwv.org to apply today. The West Virginia Building and Construction Trades, where the future is.
At CAMC, our focus has always been on building better healthcare for you. Our new Center for Learning and Research combines cutting-edge technology with hands-on experience for physicians, nurses, and other caregivers. Using specially designed simulation rooms and robotics with expert instruction, our learners expand their expertise. Because you deserve the most advanced care possible, now and in the years to come. Welcome to the future of medicine.
Fair warning, if you go after our kids and young people, I'm coming after you. As governor, I'll see to it that fentanyl dealers get a mandatory life sentence, and I'll put human traffickers behind bars for life. To help our communities hire and retain the best first responders, I'll increase pay and benefits, and we'll provide better training for our police and our firefighters and our EMS, the ones who put their lives on the line to protect ours.
Welcome back inside the Media Center studios as we continue our discussion. And joining us now is Hall of Fame basketball coach Bob Huggins. Thank you for your time today, sir.
My pleasure.
And I know that the Fish Fry has always been near and dear to you, and it's still going on, and that was important to you to keep it going on, even in a year where you're not on the sidelines. This year it's set for April 6th, again at Milan Park in Morgantown. Just talk a little bit about what this event means to you personally, because I know a lot of times when events like this are held, you lend your name, but you're really invested in this for obvious reasons, because of your mother, of course. But just talk a little about the history of the Fish Fry and why it was important to you to keep it going.
Well, my mother was the nearest and dearest person to not just me, but my brothers and sisters. I've got 4 sisters and 2 other brothers. So, as my dad used to say, 3 boys and 4 others. That's because he was a basketball coach.
Sure.
So, yeah, and just to watch my mother suffer was brutal, just absolutely brutal. So, I got with my siblings and said, we need to do something. I didn't at that time know what to do, but just do something. Right. So we created the Norma May Huggins Foundation for cancer research, and it's been terrific, absolutely terrific. And then I don't know where I came up with the fish fry thing. I think I was fishing, maybe. And
that would make sense.
Yeah. So I said, why don't we do a fish fry? And it kind of started out. I was at Kansas State briefly,
right? And
they had a fish fry, and it was literally guys going out, throwing the.
Did you have Michael Beasley go catch some fish for you?
Mike could have waited and got him, but no, I don't think Mike was ever out there. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was a really neat thing. So when I came back to West Virginia, we started talking about what can we do, and I thought, well, let's have a fish fry. And the initial thing was, let's just go catch some fish and we'll clean them and cook them and eat them.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, it's kind of like you do at home. So that's how it started, and I didn't know what to do for a fish fry. So I got a whole slew of my counterparts, and they came in. So I had all these coaches, and I asked Randy Moss. I said, "Randy, would you come in?" Randy came in, was fantastic. Jason Williams came in. At that time, it was white chocolate.
Sure.
If you remember. So,
one of the best handles in the game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I had those guys there, and it went extremely well. We headed that to Waterfront, and then we decided to move it out to Milan, where we could get more people. Mm-hmm. And it went from having all those coaches in there. We still had coaches. Bill Self's been in. A number of coaches have been in.
Tell everyone who's coming in this year.
Pete Rose.
There you go.
Pete Rose, yeah.
Who, unlike you, is not in the Hall of Fame.
I know. But yeah, well,
That's a whole different ball of wax.
well, don't forget, I lived in Cincinnati for quite a period
Sure.
of time. So yeah, I know Pete well.
And in years past, this has been a kind of a partnership with WV Medicine, now switching over to Vandalia, which brings us back to David. Talk a little bit about how proud you guys are to be a part of this and what it means to the Vandalia health system.
Yeah, we're honored that the coach and his family have chosen Vandalia to be a beneficiary of this event. We have cancer centers all the way from southern West Virginia through Beckley, through Charleston, which has the busiest cancer center by volume in the state, right here on the southern part of Charleston, up the 79 corridor to Stonewall Jackson Memorial Hospital, Mont Health Medical Center in Morgantown, and of course, Preston Memorial. Davis Health System that just joined our family, Davis Medical Center has full service cancer. So the coach's analogy of the Pony Express has landed really well with us. We get care to where the patients are and get it easier for them to navigate where they need to be. And the investments that come from this are going to only help us improve cancer outcomes and improve access.
And what's really cool about this is you're so self-aware and you understand what it means, and everyone from across the state comes to this. It's up north in Morgantown, obviously, but there are people from Princeton that come to this. Mm-hmm. And you went out of your way to say, we maybe need to start looking at southern West Virginia ways that we can take care of some of those people. So you wanted to bring on board the miners for this, and they remember the Miners Scholar Program. How cool is that to get them involved in this as well?
Well, we were renting a house at the time before we built the house in Morgantown. I'm sitting there, and it comes on, and that was actually the 5th is the anniversary,
right,
of
UBB.
One of the worst mining disasters in our state's history. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm seeing that, and I said to my wife, I wish I could do something. And so I'm sitting there, and I get a call. It's like, hey, Hugs, can you come down to this deal? And it was Senator Manchin at the
right.
And I said, yeah, sure. So I called a buddy of mine who had a helicopter. He came in the helicopter. We had already gone around and gathered a bunch of food and everything and stuffed all the food in. I called Greg Darby, Little Generals, and a very dear friend, and I said, can you help us with this? And here he came with all kind of trucks. And they were saying, we need water. And so Greg pulls these trucks of water in, and we walked into this big pole building, and you look at the back of the pole building, and there was water stacked up like to here, because as soon as people hear, West Virginians take care of West Virginians.
Oh, absolutely.
So
every time.
Water was coming in. We had food in, and Senator Manchin came in, got choked up, handed a mic to me, and left. And here I am.
There you go.
Yeah, here I am standing there holding a mic in front of really what it was wives and whatever, maybe some girlfriends and whatever, but they didn't know if anybody was ever going to get out. Mm. And so I'm there, and I have absolutely no idea what to do. Everybody's like, well, can you talk to them a little bit? And so I tried to say some things. I got choked up. Jason Parsons was at that time the head of the student body at the university. I said, man, run and get that stuff. I got it in the car. So he went and got the car, and what I had was a big box of jerseys, old jerseys that I gathered up and took down there. It was jerseys, and then there's the slew of T-shirts that we had printed, and I said, I'm not sure what to say other than the fact that I've got all these T-shirts here. If y'all would like a West Virginia T-shirt, and I'd be happy to autograph it if that's what you want, and we can go from there. There was a lady there, and I still to this day don't remember her name, but she stood up and she said, Coach, I've got 2 sons and my husband that are still under, and they're going to come out. can I get enough T-shirts for my family? I said, ma'am, you can have all that you want. And
That puts stuff into perspective, doesn't it?
oh my God. So she came up and I gave her T-shirts and signed the T-shirts, and I was just down at a deal. They had a Hall of Fame deal all the way down in southern West Virginia, and Jerry Lucas was there, and Jerry spoke, and then they wanted me to come up and say something, and so I got up and kind of stumbled around a little bit as I usually do, and this lady stood up. She said, "Coach, I'm the lady who stood up," and obviously they didn't get out. But she stood up and said, "I really appreciate everything that you did there," which makes you feel good.
What does it mean to you to be the type of person who literally your name on a piece of cloth can mean so much to somebody who's going through that type of situation, knowing that, to you it's just signing a uniform, but to them, they'll treasure that forever. I mean, and I know that that's important to you to be able to give back in ways that might seem relatively small, but that mean a lot to other people. I mean, that's a big responsibility as well, but something that I know that you've always taken to heart.
Well, as you know, I said my dad was a basketball coach, so he drugged me everywhere.
Yeah.
And so as a little kid, if there was somebody there who I knew was, really good, I would take my T-shirt off and say, "Would you sign this?"
Yeah.
And so I had signed autographs of different people from around the state, and actually had Jerry one time that saw him down in the old field house. So I thought to myself, well, that's what I want to be. I want to be one of those guys that kids look up to, that I can sign an autograph and make them smile.
2,700 people last year, which set a record. We can beat that this year, I think, probably. I know you spoke about how proud you are to have Vandalia a part of this. What specifically is the role of Vandalia in helping promote this and being a part of it, and what do you hope to see happen on April 6th?
Like all of us, the coach is intimately involved in every detail, so our goal is to make sure his reality comes true. We're a beneficiary. This is their event. The money they're raising will benefit us, the minors, and we're taking that seriously. So whatever we need to do, we're reaching out to our own doctors, our own staff. We have volunteers from universities. Fairmont State has pledged to be able to help us with this. Glenville, people in between, West Virginia Wesleyan, to be able to give us volunteers to put on a great event for people who buy a ticket, and be able to raise money not only to help the minors, but also improve cancer care.
You spoke about tickets, $50 for students, $75 for healthcare professionals
And first responders.
who get a break, and then $150 for general population. Tickets on sale right now on the website.
Yes.
Set for April 6th, 12th annual Fish Fry up in Milan Park. Coach, I know that this is a huge event for you, and I know you probably like to see this continue going. How excited are you for this year's specific event?
Well, I'm really excited. I think it's having Pete here is really a neat thing. And we don't want to forget, I mean, we want to do what we can do for these people, but we also want to make sure that Remember the Miners continues on. Remember the Miners was something that I just came up with because I didn't know what else to say. And it's Eric Mundell has been absolutely incredible. And you talk about a guy who did things at the Super Bowl. And he has been there every fish fry. He makes the fish fry go. I mean, I just gonna walk around, shake hands, and do my thing.
But that's what a lot of people are going for, to be able to do that. They go home and say, "Hey, I met the coach."
Well, hopefully that continues. And we continue to put on a great show, and the food's good.
Yeah.
And
omega-3 fatty acids good for you too in that
Absolutely.
fish.
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't. I never wanted to lose the fact that it needs to be fun.
Yeah.
It needs to be fun, and all the people that we've had in have walked out of there. Barkley said, "This is the neatest thing I've done."
I'm sure Charles has done a lot of neat things.
Yeah, probably a few he won't talk about. Yeah, but yeah, he has, and a great guy.
Yeah. And this is a great way to obviously keep your mother's legacy alive as well too. Is it almost even more important for you to be able to do that this year, in a year where you're not actively on the sidelines?
Yeah, because I mean, I wanted to continue to go whether I'm coaching or not.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to continue to go. My mom grew up on A Street. I mean, right at the bottom of the hill. You could leave the Coliseum, take a right going downtown. When you get to the bottom of the hill, there's 8th Street. My mother grew up on 8th Street. I was born. Yeah, I was born right, basically right on campus. The hotel was right there. Not hotel. The hospital was right there. That's where I was born, Vincent Pallotti Hospital. I was born at Vincent Pallotti Hospital. I grew up in Doug Hill. Doug Hill is suburban Saberton, for those that don't know. So I grew up there. I lived here. I played Little League baseball in Morgantown, Little League champions.
It's your backyard.
And so I mean I have loved West Virginia always, and I heard nothing at home other than my mom and dad, you know, constantly were talking about West Virginia and the great people in West Virginia. So, you know, I didn't walk back here, I ran back here.
At Dutch Miller Automotive, we've grown quite a bit over the last 60 years, but our core principles remain the same. We believe in treating our customers and our team members like friends and family, and we see it as our obligation to give back to all the communities we are so fortunate to do business in. In just West Virginia alone, we've grown from one location on the west end of Huntington to 10 rooftops employing more than 500 Mountaineers. Check out the inventory from all of our stores at DutchMillerAuto.com. Dutch Miller Automotive Group, West Virginia proud.
When it comes to surgical care, you want the best hands behind the robot. And those are ours. Choose Mon Health. Feel the difference.
J.B. McCuskey is a lifelong West Virginian who has proudly served the state of West Virginia for years. He's running for Attorney General to keep fighting for our West Virginian values. Vote J.B. McCuskey for Attorney General on May 14th.
Well, we did come here today to talk about the fish fry, and we'll stick to that. If there is any other news you want to break right here, though, but feel free if there's anything else you want to get off your chest or talk about. I mean, the floor is yours.
I'll pass.
I understand. Coach Bob Huggins, thank you so much for your time. Again, the 12th annual Fish Fry now as our partnership with Vandalia Health coming up on April 6th at Milan, at the Milan Park there in Morgantown. $50 for students, $75 for healthcare professionals and first responders, $150 for the general public. They did 2,700 last year. We're going to do more this year, and you can get your tickets right now online. We want to thank our guests today, David Goldberg from Vandalia and Hall of Fame coach Bob Huggins. Thank you for your time today, sir.
My pleasure.
And thank you for joining us. And we'll have another Outside the Echo Chamber coming to you again next week on Tuesday as we continue to discuss issues that are important to you and your family. Until then, I'm Rick Lord. Take care.